from Israel with us right now. My very good friend Jonathan Feldstein, all the way from Israel. So he has some updates that he would like to share. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me. So right now, how far are you from Gaza? I think you said 45 minutes or hour.
We're 40 miles out this window behind me to the corner of the Gaza Strip, about 45 to maybe 50 miles maximum from where they're firing the rockets. But it's not close, but the significance of that is every day this week since Saturday, we've had rockets overhead coming from Gaza, which was the first indication on Saturday morning that we weren't online, but the indication that something very serious was going on, because while we know they have rockets that can reach here, they don't use them that often. But every day we've been getting rockets, but the problem is, central and southern Israel has been getting bombarded by thousands.
Yes. So you were telling me over the phone that in the morning, because it was Sabbat, and on Sabbat, Jewish people are not doing much activities right
Correct.
outside, and
Correct.
then that was really a surprise attack that was taken so many people by storm.
Yeah, big time. We're offline. We don't do that's a whole separate conversation about the forms of labor, but completely offline. And what jolted me out of bed was this air raid siren 50 yards out that window. Very, very disconcerting. And that was the first of, I believe, remember correctly, 4 times that we were sent to the bomb shelter just on Saturday alone. And because because we don't turn lights on and off also, so our bomb shelter is my son's bedroom, and my son wasn't home, so the lights were off. So we were sitting for 10 minutes each time in a pitch black room, which is also added to the eeriness and the uncertainty, if you will, of what in fact was going on.
Yes. Jonathan, the Hamas, they invaded Israel from all different directions. They came through the land, sea, and the sky.
Yeah.
So, what is like? Do you feel like it was planned, and what they did is like really to purposely? I mean, for war they've been talking about for years. Iran
Well,
and all that stuff.
well, I'm so glad you mentioned Iran. We'll come back to that. But look, the Hamas charter calls for the destruction of Israel, and they're not much more friendly to Christians either. This is, and you know this. This is a radical, intolerant, extremist Islam. The head of the snake is in Iran, but Hamas has been playing with us for years, and this is when they took their opportunity. As I said, I read somebody wrote a really great article talking about this is the height of Palestinian Arab culture. They have nothing else to show. This is
Yeah.
what they do. And so while I don't know that they definitely surprised Israel, there were probably significant military and intelligence failures, not knowing about it, not preventing it sooner. But having said that, um, while maybe this kind of attack wasn't predicted, I don't know yet. Uh, Certainly, the fact that they would eventually do something was inevitable.
Yes, I want to show this video that I think you recorded this video, and in this video it shows that how much civilians showing love to military. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this video on so all people watching, about 40 people we have live on with us. Make
Great.
sure you guys share this video with your family, friends, and get the news out there. And I will ask all of our audience to please pray for Israel right now. Please
Yes.
pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We are actually meeting on this coming Thursday, a special council from
Yeah.
Houston. We having a program here. All the pastors and people are coming together to pray for Israel and also discuss. So here I'm going to bring the video on. Pay very close attention. And brother Jonathan, feel free to talk about this video.
Sure. So what we're seeing here are average Israeli citizens. It's intuitive that all of these military vehicles are going south toward Gaza, and you're seeing average Israeli citizens who brought out picnic tables and food and drinks and flags and are celebrating not celebrating our soldiers, well, celebrating the soldiers, not the war, but we love them. And while we're seeing this, things like this are happening all over the country right now. And I'll just share from last night. My son, who's a combat soldier, he was called up Saturday as well, and went back into the army. My son arrived in a community, I'm not going to say where, yesterday, and complete strangers welcoming the soldiers with open arms. Come take a shower in my house. There were people who took his dirty laundry and started washing his laundry and returned it to him washed and folded. And he said, we may go get to visit him tomorrow or Friday before Shabbat begins. And he said, please don't bring us food. They're feeding us here. The people love us. They're taking care of us as if we are their own children. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing tremendous grief. I wrote an article that's been widely published already about how angry we are, how scared we are, how grieving we are. But you're seeing now the unity, the celebration of everything that God brought us back to do, to rebuild this land and to restore Jewish sovereignty here. Unfortunately, I don't know. I haven't read the scripture yet where God said he was going to make it easy for us. So we're living that out, and God is protecting us, but it's not been easy this week at all. We've had over 1,200 Israelis killed. Most of them have been massacred in cold blood by civilians who were attacked by these terrorists infiltrating their communities and breaking into their homes. And we hear more and more now of horrific, vulgar things that you wouldn't even see in an American horror movie. It's incomprehensible what these inhuman beings did, breaking into people's homes and killing them in front of their own relatives.
This is terrible, and sorry to hear that. And right now, we at the Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, declared war. I
Yeah.
think that was early Monday, right? He declared a war and
Yeah,
said that
Saturday
we
night or
are.
Sunday. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yes. But what is like for Christian community all over the world that are watching this, what is take place? I mean, first of all, it was so prophetic, according to the Bible, that Jews were scattered all over. Like Jewish people went through so much, and they were scattered all over the world. And this is the very first nation that was scattered all over the world, and their homeland was taken away from them. But they came back. But now,
Correct.
do you think this is a actual? Because the Bible also talk about the war and rumors of war. What do you feel like? Where this thing is leading to? How? I mean, right now, as of the situation, I do see right now, not anybody in Israel is protected. But what is? Do you think that is going to take next to? It's going to be end up peace talk, or do you feel like that's the end of a peace talk?
No, this crossed all lines. To give you an idea, look, in the first day there were 600. In the first day or two, there were 600 known casualties. That number is now tripled or doubled or tripled. Right, we're over 1,200 known casualties, known deaths. And what is important about that is that the same week, 50 years ago, is when Egypt and Syria launched the surprise attack of the Yom Kippur War. 50 years and
Yeah.
one day. Where this was, I don't believe this was a coincidence in the timing of the attack either. And having said that, more Israelis were killed on the first day of this war than in the whole first week of the Yom Kippur War. And if we go back to the Holocaust, there haven't been this many Jews killed in one day or 1 week since the Holocaust itself. So we're seeing this vile, evil, godless Islam that just seeks to obliterate Israel and kill us, and do so without any. I mean, it's redundant to say that, without any sense of humanity. It's not a regular war. This is a terror. There we go. This is a terror war. You're probably seeing there videos of Israeli responses in Gaza, probably from planes and drones. What's been happening since Saturday is some very severe attacks back in the terrorist infrastructure in Gaza. The pictures are punishing, but that honestly, That's exactly what needs to happen right now. We need to root out all possibility that Hamas will be able to continue to fight us, eliminate their leaders. And the most important thing, and I really want everyone watching this to pay attention, I do believe this is going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to get bloodier on both sides, unfortunately. I'm not celebrating that. I don't want that to happen on either side, but that I believe is inevitable. And the reason I'm mentioning this right now is because when you start to see, or the world starts to see, civilian Palestinian Arabs in Gaza dying at a higher proportion because the terrorists are using them as human shields. They're camped out behind them. Their bunkers are underneath the civilians. When we see all of this, it's going to start to make the world uncomfortable. And then they're going to say, our response has been disproportionate. And I want to be really clear. What has to happen right now may be disproportionate. What has to happen right now is a restoration of deterrence because Lebanon, the Hezbollah in Lebanon, which is also an Iranian-backed terror organization, and Iran itself are watching very carefully, and they know that if we don't respond swiftly now, that they can come in and open another front. And we need to make them go back into their bunkers wherever they are and pretend that this never happened and that they should never even dream about it, because the punishment for doing this needs to be so great. And I use those words very, very specifically.
So, so many Israeli were kidnapped. They were taken off their homes. American tourists were kidnapped. I mean, people from all over the world, they
Yes.
look at Israel as Jerusalem. It's one of the holiest city on the planet of the earth, and supporting Israel. And now, is there do you know what number of people have been kidnapped as of now, or are there any, you know, Hamas opened up and said like, "Hey, we are responsible for this. We got it."
No,
But then
that's an excellent.
also,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
for the number of people that are being hostage, is there like exchange? Are these people going to be back, or are they going to be hostage for a long time?
All of those are very profound and honestly very scary questions. The hostage situation also governs how Israel can and will go in on the ground and with other forces, because right now Hamas is threatening to execute hostages. Anytime they say, what do they say most recently? If we go in with ground forces, they will execute the hostages. If we don't stop hitting certain things, they will execute the hostages. We don't know exactly. I don't know if anyone knows
Yeah.
exactly how many hostages there are. It's believed that there's more than 100, but more than 100 could be 110, or it could be 250. We do know, because we've seen their vile videos of the terrorists that they've made. They've taken small children hostage, and they've
Oh no.
taken elderly women hostage. And there were more reports today about not just the hostages, but certainly the victims of the first wave of their assault being raped and being beheaded.
Yes.
Babies were beheaded. So the
Yes.
hostage situation is very, very grave. I today, but maybe 2 hours ago, saw an initial list of names that have been reported to the families as being presumed taken hostage. It's quite an extensive list. I didn't count
Yeah.
how many names, but there are a
Yes.
lot of names. What
A
we
lot of
don't
names.
know, a lot of names, and we don't
Yes.
know is how many more names. And the Hamas has not come out with a list of names, but they're just threatening that they will execute hostages. That's their only capital right now.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I want to know, all the people that audience is watching. Hey guys, let me know what part of the United States you're watching. We want to make sure we acknowledge you on this, and we are grateful that you are taking your time coming on this live broadcast. We have over 60 people are watching now.
Amazing.
This is awesome. And put your comments below, and prayers. And if you have any questions that you want to ask Jonathan while he's live right now, sitting in
Yeah.
Israel. Jonathan is right now in Israel. He's live from there. And also we will go towards what way, as here we are in United States and all over the world, how can we pray for Israel and what is Jonathan needs right now, how we can be helpful to him. So here, Jonathan, few states that they came through, the people are watching from. Here we have right now
New York,
Mississippi in the
Michigan,
house.
Florida, Texas,
There you go.
Mississippi. I want to tell you all, I've lost count how many interviews and conversations and briefings and prayer events I've done this week all around the world, in probably a dozen countries and all around the US. It's important for me to share what's going on, but I have to tell you, I'm
Yeah.
telling my Jewish Israeli friends, Arkansas and Montana, God bless you. This gives me, the Hebrew word is chizuk. You're giving me strength,
Yeah.
your care, your love. We need this now because we're hurting. We're strong, but we're fearful, and our kids are in harm's way. My daughter, with 3 children under 5, is home alone. My son-in-law was called up into the army on Saturday as well, and anyone who's got little kids knows that's hard, just being a parent of 3 little kids anyway. But she's home alone, and my son, who's a combat soldier, was called up on Saturday. He's a newlywed. He was married 3 months and a week ago, and
Oh no.
now his wife, my daughter-in-law, is living by herself with her parents in her parents' house when she should be celebrating with her husband and beginning their life together.
Yeah.
So I just really want to thank you all. Your prayers are super important. What I want to ask you to pray for is our soldiers, all of them, not just my son and my son-in-law and my daughter's boyfriend, who are all called up, but we're talking about 300,000 people who were called up. And listen to
Oh wow.
this: 360,000 showed up. Israelis are united. People are
Yes.
showing up. This is a national war of the kind that we've never seen in 75 years. People are showing up. Pray for the soldiers. Pray for the families whose loved ones have been slaughtered this week. Pray for the families whose loved ones are hostages, and for the hostages, and for nearly 3,000 people who have been injured throughout all of this. And pray that
Yeah.
we continue to have the strength. I share this all day long with my Jewish Israeli friends. How many Christians who are out there who love us unconditionally, who are praying for us. And I'm going to take a recording of this to show to my friends, to show all of you, Annie and Charlie and Charles and Annie again, everybody. Thank you so much. We need this. We need
Yes.
your prayers, and we covet them.
Yes, absolutely. So, what is, Benjamin Netanyahu? Any update recent happened that you're seeing and being broadcast in Israel? What is the next step? I mean, right now, all the, I mean, army and everybody is, regardless of the political party, everybody's united in Israel, right? And they're
Well,
in it, fighting against it. What's the next step?
not only is everyone united, but we connected this evening, now my time, because I sent you pictures of it seemed like it was a false alarm, but an attack on the north of Israel, and that looked horrifying, and that was going on for about an hour with possible aircraft. The reason I mention it is that affects many Israeli Arabs. So I was in touch with some of my Christian Arab friends, making sure that they were okay. And I live in a place that people think is supposed to be dangerous, known pejoratively as the West Bank. We're
Hmm.
living relatively safe here.
Yeah.
Um, so the Netanyahu government has just gone through an important transformation. Benny Gantz, National Unity Party, has just joined the government as an emergency wartime government. That's real important because Benny Gantz and another member of his political party are both retired generals and retired chief of staff of the military. And now there's a war cabinet, and I feel real confident that we'll have that the unity that we're seeing, that you saw in that video on a civilian basis, is trickling up to our government, and we have good people heading the government and understanding the importance of not just the urgency to respond forcefully, but how to respond forcefully.
Yes.
So
Let
that's
me
real
ask
important.
you, this is very important questions. What it means for Jewish people prophetically, this war. Is there any spiritual insight on that? What do you?
You know, we don't have to scratch too far to look at prophecies.
Yes.
I'm not one typically who looks in and reads stuff, but we talk. They're prophecies of a major war. I was speaking with somebody recently who said who made a very, very compelling case that that major war happened already. That was the Holocaust, when a
Yeah.
third of our people were massacred, and that we're in now in this pre-messianic period. And then we differ on the nature of who the Messiah is, or whether he's been here or not, and that's fine. And I love having those conversations with my Christian friends, but that's incidental. We're still praying for the Messiah to come, and we are in that pre-messianic time, end times, however we want to call it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
will. I can't. I was going to share something that I probably can't from a
Yes.
security perspective.
Yes. So when it comes to, like anytime when Israel was attacked, it's because, there some sin happened, or God was
Um,
like, you know, like Joshua lost the battle and then he won many battles. But, anytime when far away going Israel from God, things happen. Do you feel something is like that is happening, or it's like, you know,
that's real hard for me to say. It's hard
say,
for
yeah,
me to imagine that there was something that God did or allowed
yeah,
that caused the Holocaust, or that's caused us to now in the 75 years of the history of Israel to have lost nearly 30,000 people in war and terror.
yes.
Um,
So since Yom Kippur, I think this is one of the tough battle, right? Israel is in right now, 50
Yeah,
years.
I was here in 19 I didn't live here. I wasn't a citizen yet, but I
Yes,
lived here in the summer of 82, the first Lebanon war. That was pretty harsh, but the country, they didn't have the rockets and the reach then.
yeah,
Now in 2006, I was here during the second Lebanon war, and we've had many of them. But I'll tell you really honestly,
sure.
this feels more like what a war ought to feel like. The roads are empty. The malls are open but vacant, and stores aren't even opening. Friends of mine, Christian friends, came to visit yesterday, talking about projects that we're raising money for to support Israelis together, Jews and Christians together, which is such a blessing. And their office is near the central bus station in Jerusalem. They said the central bus station looks like a ghost town now. So
Yeah.
it does feel different than it's ever felt for me in the decades that I'm living here.
Yes. There is so much live update is going on. I want to bring this in. But when it comes um, to like strikes, strikes are things is still happening. So here
Yeah.
you can see right on this side, it is a live update, from there. So
So what
and
that
then
first image that I thought what you just showed was probably live, and I think
yeah,
that may have been a I forget what it's called, something that they shoot to light up the sky because they were looking for infiltrators along the Lebanon border. I was watching the TV, and we saw the sky lit up with that. Um,
yeah,
I,
this thing right
there
here.
we go. Those are the rockets from Gaza, and maybe
Okay.
you have a clip, I don't know, of rockets being fired, knocked out of the sky by the Iron Dome. We've heard the
Iron
Iron
Dome.
Dome overhead, and the other night before I went to bed, I have an app on my phone that's telling me when the rockets are being fired and where the rockets are being fired, and it's kind of crazy to be able to
Are,
say
are
this and
they
know.
are they striking in the city, at Tel Aviv, or where are these
Oh,
rockets are
well,
falling?
the rockets are going all over the center of the country, Tel Aviv, and the large cities and suburbs outside of Tel Aviv. Um,
How about Jerusalem?
probably, probably half our population is in range of the rocket fire that's been going on. But
Yeah,
what's also
because
haunting is
yeah,
out this window, and again, I'm 40 miles away. I can see when I look at my phone and I see, here we go. I missed it. I missed it now. In fact, right now, rockets are being fired at our southern port city called Ashkelon, and many other places. There's a big bombardment of rockets going on right now. If I were to take you to that window, we could see the rockets being fired, and we can see the Iron Dome from 40 miles away. We can see the Iron Dome intercepting them. It's cool, but it's haunting.
Are they still firing rockets? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, this is live right now. I'm
They're
looking at
not stopped? The
no,
rockets
there
are
have been
still coming
no, there have
forward?
been thousands of rockets since Saturday. Right now, it says rockets. What just happened? I'm getting a commercial in the middle of my app. I don't need that. Skip the video. Sorry about this. Come on. Rockets in Karmia, Zikim, Nativ HaAsara, Ashkelon, Sderot, Nir Am, Givat Brenner, Kfar HaNagid. These are all now. These
Yeah.
are all exactly now.
This is all happening right now. Oh,
This is live. We're doing a live broadcast, and if I here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm putting my phone off silent. You're going to
yeah.
hear the next time the barrage comes.
Okay. So if you look at out your window, there's a rockets coming on, and Iron Dome is like preventing those. Any rockets fall on the city? Anybody like knock down
Where
the buildings?
where we yes, rockets have hit. The other it's been a blur, so forgive me. I don't remember which day, yesterday or maybe the day before, or maybe even today. There was a direct hit on a building and two people were killed from a rocket. The Iron Dome is about 90% successful, and the Iron Dome is brilliant because it not only can intercept the rocket in midair, but the only time that it's discharged, and it's so amazing, it's the counter charge is discharged when the sensors pick up that the rocket is coming in to a populated area. If there we go. And if they're determining, look at all the, by the way, notice that they're firing them from the middle of the most populated part because they know
Yeah.
we're not going to hit back because there's civilians there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a rocket. You'll hear the rockets on my phone if it starts coming in. And so the Iron Dome calculates the trajectory, tells us where it's going to land. And if it's going to land in the field that's a quarter mile in front of my house, the Iron Dome won't intercept it. And then we'll just hear an explosion. But if the Iron Dome is calculated, it's coming to hit my neighborhood, then we hear smack over our heads an explosion of the rocket itself. And that's why we have to stay in our bomb shelters for 10 minutes afterward, because then all the shrapnel can fall down and the shrapnel alone can kill you. But yeah, this has been nonstop. This has
Yeah.
been nonstop. My wife is very stressed, legitimately. I had my phone on. I'm sitting in my office. The door's open. And she came in and said, please turn that off. Just the noise that's made from all of the sirens. It's just a beep, 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 dinging. And it is stressful, but it's still going on. Today is Wednesday. We are in this war since Saturday morning at 6 o'clock our time, and the rockets have simply not stopped.
So Israel, if we look at the Israeli map, you see that um, there is how many nations? Jordan, right, bordered with Israel.
Correct.
Egypt is
Yes.
bordered with Israel, and
Yes.
then also you look at um,
Lebanon and Syria.
Leb- Lebanon and oh, Syria is also bordered with Israel.
Yeah, Syria. We share a border up on the Golan Heights,
Uh huh.
and we have this, not for a political conversation now, but we
Yeah.
have this. We have our the border, so to speak, with what people call pejoratively the West Bank, Judea and Samaria. That is known as the Green Line, and Gaza. Gaza is a separate entity. There's a border. It's a demarcated legal international border. And that's how this all started on Saturday morning, because they broke through the border with thousands of people and bulldozers.
Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. And I mean, Israel, I'm telling you, is a pretty very important nation. And here I pulled up the map,
There
if
you
you
go.
can look
Good.
at it. So if you look at the map, there we go, Jordan, and then there you go, Lebanon, and there is
Here we go. You
on.
listening?
Yes,
You
yes,
hear
I'm
it?
listening. Yes, what is that right now?
That's the Red Alert app. Anyone who wants to be stressed out like the rest of us can get the Red Alert app on their phone and know when we're getting bombarded. And now we're hearing that rockets are being fired to a community that I'm not familiar with called Mifalsim. That
Yeah.
was just one attack. It may be a standalone, or we may just be in the getting warmed up for a whole large barrage of them.
Yes. So a lot of the things are what's the Hamas or other organization occupied the west, right? West Bank. Is that where
No,
they
Hamas is in control of Gaza. There was a
Gaza?
after Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005, Hamas destroyed their own. Here we go. There it is again. Yeah, they're firing a lot of rockets now. Um, and it's distracting. You can imagine this is how we're living our life these days, which is why my wife is correct to tell me to shut it off.
Shut it.
Hamas took over and slaughtered their own Palestinian brothers from the Palestinian Authority. Hamas was not elected. They had literally a bloody coup, and they destroyed and slaughtered leaders of the Palestinian Authority and the PLO, and that's how Hamas became in control of Gaza right now.
Yes, yes. No, I'm talking about if when they ever enter, they enter through the Gaza Strip, right? This is the main place they enter it through.
That's correct.
Yes, because they're not gonna come through airport or anywhere else, but they're coming through the Gaza Strip and
Right. So
through the
right,
Palestinian. It's so
and
connected. The
right. So Israel's
Palestinians.
closed the two border crossings between Gaza and Israel right now. Excuse me. And there's an additional border crossing into Egypt. But the Egyptians, it's really funny. I
Oh, through
heard that
Egypt, there's a boarding crossing through Egypt as well.
there's another border crossing through Egypt, though, and I heard the UN Secretary General, who I would like to smack across the face, blaming Israel for the fact that Gaza doesn't have food and water and medical supplies, as if we're responsible. Egypt has a border with Gaza too. Egypt can provide that if they want to, but typically the terrorists, there's a huge amount of smuggling that goes on under the border, into even vehicles, human beings, cash, weapons. That's all coming under the border from Egypt.
From Egypt. Yeah, makes sense. How can Jonathan people help you? To help Israel and the local streets and the Israeli people.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Before I forget, because I do want to answer that, anyone who
Sure.
anyone who wants to reach out and get to know more about what we do at the Genesis 123 Foundation can go to our website genesis123.co, and use that also to contact me directly, especially if you'd be interested in joining. We're doing a fabulous webinar briefing tomorrow, right around no, in an hour from now, right around this time, called. Fighting an ethical war against an unethical enemy. It's going to be very interesting. But what we've done now, we've set up an emergency campaign. And in order anyone can donate there. The unique link for that is love.genesis123.co. That's love.genesis123.co. And people, when they donate, also have the opportunity to send their prayers and words of support and encouragement to our soldiers and to civilians. And I'm going to print them widely, and I'm going to distribute them everywhere I go. And what we're doing with that are three main things. There are needs for the soldiers. The deployment of 300,000 people, 360,000 people doesn't happen overnight. There are shortages in the supply line. We're not yet ready, from what I understand. From firsthand experience, some soldiers are missing some pretty significant equipment. We've gotten some donations, and we're going to help fund that. If we need to, we're going to be providing them food. We're going to be providing them clean socks and underwear and hygienic supplies, and even something as simple as this, a little power pack for their phones, because they're out. Once they go out into the field or into battle, they have no way of keeping their phones charged to be in touch with their families. And that's real important for everybody. So that's one of the items. Two, I don't know if you can pull up the video of it, but we're providing civilian security kits to these outlying communities. These are not military, but they are providing security and other kinds of equipment for the security officers in these outlying communities, equipment that could have saved a lot of lives this week. And those are expensive. Those are about 50.
Shalom, friends.
This is me providing that one of those big. It's a very big, heavy backpack filled with, well, $1,500 worth of equipment. And it's quite amazing. Let's just let it roll while I talk about that. So we want to get as much of those as possible. And the other thing, and I might get kind of emotional on this, it breaks my heart what's happening with our kids. Um, there's a Sderot is the city that's closest to the Gaza border, that's been bombarded for now most of the last 20 years, and the children growing up there don't know anything other than life under bombardment. And like in any society, whether in Houston or anywhere in the world, or anywhere that anyone watching from, there are at-risk kids. There are parents who don't have the means, not just financially, the psychological means, the emotional needs to meet their kids' needs, and to protect them. And that's the parent's main job. So these at-risk children, look at that kit, all that stuff that's in there, medical supplies, bullhorn. There's even, you're going to see in a moment, even a stretcher that folds up into the palm of your hand. It's great stuff. These kids in Sderot are beleaguered because they're coming from homes that are unsafe, and they live in a community that's unsafe. And now their whole country is at war. So we've been providing funding to a particular institution there that helps these kids, and I know they do amazing work, and I know that the work that they do is going to be needed for the long term. So I'm hoping that we get a lot of money that I can give to them and say, listen, here's a year's worth of therapy for your whole group of kids, or whatever you need. We need to bless them. We need to support them. We need to empower and strengthen these kids. But I'll tell you what's so concerning to me is that I've attempted to be in touch with people from the organization in Sderot this week a couple of times. They're not responding, and I don't know if that means something really bad is happening to them or their families. I don't know, but it frightens me to no end. And I see you're showing my website now. Yeah, that's genesis123.co. Thank you for showing that. Please, if you're making a donation, friends, please use the link love.genesis123.co, not the donate page, only because that's how I know that I'm going to distinguish the funds for this war emergency. Okay, you can donate
Okay.
anytime, but right now our focus is on getting all of the resources to these emergency scenarios that are short term, immediate, and short term, and we've already begun thinking long term.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. I am getting ready for our next special update with also my guest, Jonathan Khan. I want to encourage everyone to stay
Yeah.
on, guys. I'm going to come on with Jonathan Khan. It's a Jonathan Feldstein is right now with us from Israel. So Jonathan is going to be on. But awesome. Make sure you check out Jonathan Feldstein. The name that you see on the screen, that's his name on the Facebook as well. And reach out to him. Jonathan and I've been connected. I think it's been like a couple of years now.
Couple of years. Yo,
Couple
you
of
know
years.
what? You know when it was? The last time I saw you recently, more recently. The
Yes.
first time I came to you in Houston, it
Isn't
was
he?
it was a day. I don't even know if I told you this. Just before we went on air and I shut off my phone, I got a text message from my wife, who she said, "Did you hear what happened?" And no, I didn't hear what happened. I was in Houston. I didn't know what was going on. That day, I have to tell you this story. That day was a horrific terrorist attack that took place just outside of Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
4 people were killed,
Oh no.
including a Christian Israeli Arab policeman whose family I went to visit the following Sunday. I think we met on a Wednesday. I came home on Thursday, and Sunday I was up in the Galilee where the family lives. I contacted them today. We become very good friends, and I don't and for another conversation, we as the Genesis 123 Foundation, me, Jonathan Feldstein, as an Orthodox Jew, we are going to be doing a project in memory of Amir Khoury, who was an Israeli Christian Arab hero who gave his life while protecting other people. So yeah, that was a very haunting day for me. I don't know if because then we went out for lunch
Yeah.
afterward, and I don't
Yeah.
remember if I was all there because of the terror attack. But anyway,
Yes.
thank you for hosting me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy to come back on anytime. And
Sure.
friends, check out where we are and visit, and you're welcome to join our programs that we're doing as well. God bless you all. Thank you for praying for Israel.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. And guys, stay in tune. In 20 minutes, I will be back on with Jonathan Kahn, and we're going to be talking about his book, Josiah Manifesto, and also special updates on Israel. So, yeah, this is the phone right now. It's buzzing right now because of the rockets are coming. But continue pray for
Okay.
Israel. Put your request right below. Anybody wants to reach out to Jonathan, please reach out. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, guys.
Thank you.
Take
God
care.
bless.